The purpose of this session was mainly to get as much information as possible, to get an idea of what to do now about this knee annoyance that's come up. Started off with some push presses, a weight that is very manageable. I did 3 sets of 5, and in between I was doing a lot of knee work. So I was getting down into the bottom of a deep squat, and I was basically moving side to side, up and down. I sped it up. It looks a bit funny, but the idea was to get as much blood pumping through the knee, and I was doing this at the end range of flexion for the knee, and also like a small step down where you extend the last few degrees of knee extension. And so I was working both from the top and the bottom of the range of motion in a pain-free range to get some blood pumping in there. And after that I tested a couple of reps with just 40 kilos on the back squat, just to get an idea of whether that was helping or not. The first one, I didn't really experience any discomfort. I tried to sit in there for a few seconds, going left and right, up and down. And the second one is where I started feeling a bit of tension on the patella, and that is where I decided to just call it quits. I don't think this is the only thing that I should be doing. I mainly don't want to lose my mobility in the knee. It's something that it took me ages to develop, and it would be really a shame for me to lose it because of some knee rehab. I think I can work in those positions, and maybe I was thinking that's something that could be done from a strength perspective, to keep as much strength as possible. Not that I have much, but what little I have would be probably pin squats, where I put the bar at a height that doesn't trigger any pain when I push up, and I see what happens there. So that was almost all that I did for assessing what I could do to proceed with the knee rehab. And in the meantime, I was getting in a normal session. I did some dips, I did some pull-ups. This is the weighted pull-ups, something that I really wanted to test, and I'm glad it's not affected negatively, is the Nordic Curl. I can still do 3 repetitions. I don't feel anything in my knee. I didn't expect to feel any pain in there because it's moving, it's using just different muscles. And the only thing that I was maybe concerned with was the patella pressing against the pad, but I didn't really feel any discomfort, so that's really good. And then I did a few low raises. It's important to keep working out the movements that don't feel that you don't feel any pain with as normal, not to get bogged down by what's not going well, and to the detriment of what is really unaffected. So I was a bit demoralized from the previous day. I really tried to push myself to set aside those thoughts and concentrate on the task at hand. And here I did a few leg extensions, single leg, with no weight really, just to see if putting some weight at the end of a long lever with the knee as a fulcrum would cause me any pain, and it didn't, so that's pretty good. I did a few sets with a lot of repetitions. The idea of these exercises is to just get as many reps as possible, get the big pump in there, and hopefully that will help with the recovery of the tissue. And also was glad to see that there's no issue with my hyperextensions. This is something that I can still progress. It's going to be probably my the main output for my posterior chain volume. So ideally, if I can keep progressing these in weight, as well as the overhead presses, I would be pretty happy. And the next session will probably be about trying to establish what I can do in terms of squat variations. I don't really want to do box squats, although that could be a possibility. I'm gravitating towards pin squats in the manner that I described earlier, and I might actually try to see if the deadlift is something that I can still do without pain. And I finished it off with a few handstands. I might actually starting to put some more effort in my handstand journey, because that was kind of taking a back seat as the deadlifts and the squat were progressing so well up until now. And I was doing also some wall sits, getting some isometrics in there. So ideally I did most of what I used to be doing back when my right knee was giving me an annoyance in the summer. It was about the same thing, like patello-femoral pain. So I think I have the tools to get this resolved in a faster way than I did last year. And so in the end, I'm not very worried. I'm just a bit annoyed that I let myself slip to this situation. There probably is something to be said about my squatting position. Sometimes I feel that a lot of tension goes into the knee, and probably a lot of the force should be driven downwards towards the feet, and to get an optimal movement. So this is also something that I'm gonna be experimenting with in the next one. Hope for the best. Ciao.